I'm Tracy Baxter with today's Record Newswatch. A teenage girl from Plattekill died last night following what Town of Newburgh police and emergency personnel are calling a horrific accident. It happened shortly after 7 p.m. on Route 32 near Mill Street in the Cronomer Valley section of town. According to police, 15-year-old Alana Tadry was a rear passenger in a car that collided with an oncoming car as it was passing other vehicles. The car, an Audi, split in two. The front end and the front seat occupants slid about 200 feet on the roadway. The rear passenger compartment and trunk area went about 30 feet into the woods. The driver, 20-year-old Edward Lear of Plattekill, and a front seat passenger, 18-year-old Nicole Galgan of Newburgh, were taken to St. Francis Hospital in Poughkeepsie. A second rear seat passenger, 19-year-old Christopher Giamarino of New Windsor, was airlifted to Westchester Medical Center with serious injuries.
It's always difficult, especially when you have the death of a young person, a life needlessly lost. Again, we don't know what caused the accident. We don't know whether speed came into play. We don't know whether substance abuse or alcohol is in play. But these are things that will all be learned in the days ahead. And there's always a chance that could be criminal prosecution here in this case, but that remains to be seen.
This morning, friends of the victim, Alana Tadry, placed roses at the crash site. The driver of the second vehicle involved, 49-year-old John Dyer of Newburgh, was taken to St. Luke's Hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. There was a second tragedy in the town of Newburgh, this one occurring about 2 hours earlier, when a Plattekill man was shot by a friend while the men were hunting in woods off Forest Road and Cronk Road. A 48-year-old Timothy Evans died after being shot in the shoulder area with a high-powered rifle fired by his hunting companion, 39-year-old Guy Wensley of Plattekill. Chief Michael Clancy said Wensley shot Evans after the pair had separated and that Evans had died by the time the first officer arrived.
The victim was wearing all camouflage. The gentleman that fired the gun thought he was firing at a deer, apparently hit the friend, and the friend died right there at the scene.
Police have labeled it a hunting incident. No charges have been filed pending the conclusion of their investigation. Elsewhere, police in Port Jervis have released surveillance images from a local bank that they hope will help them catch a robber. It happened Monday shortly after 11 a.m. when a man walked into the TD Bank North Branch on East Main Street and presented a bank teller a note demanding money. He left with an undisclosed amount of cash. The suspect is described as a white male about 6 feet tall, 160 pounds. He was wearing a light brown colored sweatshirt type jacket, dark colored baseball style hat, blue jeans, and dark colored gloves. Anyone with information that can aid in the investigation of the Port Jervis Bank robbery is asked to call City Police at 856-5101 or the Detective Division at 858-4003. More and more people in Ulster County are suffering from food insecurity. That's the conclusion drawn from a report released today by the Center for Research, Regional Education and Outreach at SUNY New Paltz. The report says a significant number of county residents are living in poverty and have become dependent on the county's food pantries, soup kitchens, and food distribution sites on a long-term basis. The report found that about 3 in every 20 Ulster County residents and nearly 1 in 5 children at times lack adequate food to meet basic nutritional needs. Reporter Jeremiah Horgan has more on the report and the growing demands being made on Ulster County's hunger safety net here at Record Online and in tomorrow's Times-Herald Record. Authorities don't know where he is or if he's even alive, but nonetheless, an indictment's been handed up against Eugene Palmer, the 73-year-old Stony Point man charged with murdering his daughter-in-law during a confrontation back in September. The fatal shooting of 39-year-old Tammy Palmer prompted an intense manhunt in Harriman State Park, where Palmer's truck was found shortly after the incident. Searchers were not able to find Palmer amid speculation he may have died due to medical issues. Rockland County District Attorney Thomas Zugaby says the indictment will allow the criminal case to go forward once Palmer is located. And it'll be a while longer before a winner is declared in the still unresolved battle for the 18th District Orange County legislative seat. A fight over contested ballots in the too close to call race between Republican legislator R.J. Smith and Democratic challenger Roseanne Sullivan will be heard in State Supreme Court December 4th. Sullivan led Smith by 4 votes after about 360 undisputed absentee and affidavit ballots were counted on Friday. But still in play are 53 challenge votes cast during a mix-up in Bullville, where some were given ballots that excluded the legislative race, even though they resided in that legislative district. 27 of those voters eventually returned and cast paper ballots, but 26 did not. Now, at issue is whether they should now be allowed to vote, and if not, should those 27 other ballots be counted. Sunshine should dominate our weather for the next couple of days, including Thanksgiving Day. Wednesday will be mostly sunny with temperatures getting into the low 50s. Thursday, Turkey Day, will be mostly sunny with the highs at or near 55 degrees. Stay on top of what's happening throughout the day and evening right here at Record Online. And for all the information and features important to you, read tomorrow's Times Herald Record. For Record Newswatch, I'm Tracy Benson.